Hello and welcome, ladies and today we're going to be asking ourselves the question: set of tyres in a Formula 1 Grand Prix. Now, we're going to be driving as my favourite driver, Sebastian Vettel, circuit of Silverstone, of course, to tackle this experiment. And we're going to see how far into a Grand Prix, into a 100% race, can we get a single set of tyres. Now, obviously, throughout the weekend, it is mandatory you use, during a race, 2 sets of different compound tyres. So that could be less for, well, you got an option of 3 sets of tyres, soft, medium and hard usually, but you must, or you're required to use 2 sets of tyres, 2 different sets of tyres, during the course of the Grand Prix. So for instance, you could do a race strategy in, for instance, soft hard, or soft medium, or medium hard, medium soft, or you could go soft medium hard, or medium medium soft, you know, for example, just showing you various strategies Formula 1 teams may or may not use during the course of a Formula 1 Grand Prix weekend. But today we're going to be asking, as I said, how far can we get a single set of tyres in a Formula 1 Grand Prix? Now, obviously, reason why I'm doing this experiment, because obviously, British Grand Prix, or tyre popping and going, you know, basically a lot of tyre punctures. So I thought, why not? Let's see how far we can do it, or get a set of tyres in a Formula 1 Grand Prix. Now, obviously, we're not going to use the soft tyre, because the soft tyre would probably only last a dozen laps, basically. So it's not really worth using the soft tyre. I'm going to go for the medium, because it's in between the soft and the hard. Therefore, if I'm good at tyre management, okay, therefore we should be able to extend the stint by a significant amount, obviously. But if we're not good at tyre management, well, the tyres should die rather quickly. Now, in a Formula 1 Grand Prix, they only usually, when it comes to strategy, they usually pit before the tyres go off the cliff. They don't actually pit necessarily when the tyres are going to go off the cliff. Just to show you how long the mediums could last, they're predicting the mediums at the most can only go to lap 41. So that's what they're predicting the most. So we're talking 41 laps on a set of mediums. So effectively, by the time we get to lap probably 48, I'm going to say, effectively, the tyres should be well and truly gone. Now, that isn't taken into account, obviously, the fact we are going to have to... So we're going to lower our tyre pressures, just so they're nice and soft, because there's a lot of high-speed corners here, so you don't really want your tyres hard, because you're not really going down straights. How far they could go? They could probably go all the way, apparently, according to this, to the very, very last lap of the Grand Prix. So, yeah, over... So, by the time we get to, by the way, lap 41, we're talking 75% tyre wear. So they shouldn't be, well, they won't have died yet, but they should be very close to dying, effectively. They should be very much on the brink of dying, okay, and going pop. Pop goes the weasel, if you want to say. So, yeah, they should be very, very close to, you know, having punctures or something like that. I'm going to say the lap we're going to get to will be lap 45, okay? That will be the lap. We will probably see punctures or very, very fragile tyres occur. Probably punctures, I'm going to say. Lap 45, based on that prediction. So, lap 45, expect tyre punctures. But if we don't have tyre punctures by lap 45, clearly I'm wrong. Mark your predictions down in the comments. But let's get into this. Let's see how far a single set of Formula 1 tyres can go. This is going to be very intriguing to see, but also, you never know. So here we go then, 5 red lights. We are the only top 4 car on the soft tyre. And here we go then, lights out and away we go. It's up into turn 1 then. As we head up over the crest of turn 1. As we look down the inside of Charles Leclerc. Down the inside we go on Charles Leclerc. And that's us up into 3rd place as we come wide. Touching the grass a little bit. I am a bit rusty, by the way. So that's why my driving may not be the smoothest in these first few opening laps. As Alex Albon trying to get past. We shut the door on Alex. But already look at the lead. Max and Hamilton have got already 2-second lead, even though that's due to the fact we've been fighting a little with those behind me. But now we can overly pull out a little bit of lead ourselves over Alex Albon. We cross the line to begin lap number 2. So, obviously, I'm going to race as per usual. I'm not going to try and not race any differently to how I would in normal racing. I'm going to try and treat this as a normal Grand Prix. Obviously, and we'll see how far we can get in the course of this Grand Prix. That's if my mic... If someone's in the chat, can you just let me know if my mic's on or off? I think it's on. I know I had it earlier off whilst I was recording FIFA. I did the intro, then realised, oh crap, my mic is off. Sometimes I don't check these things before I go live. Really, I should do in future. But already, Hamilton, Verstappen already pulling out a significant lead over us. As we are sat in 3rd place.
We can now use DRS. DRS now available.
So far, lap 3, and we've only lost 3% on the left right, on the left front, sorry. Which indicates, you know, tyre wear is pretty low. If it was 1% for the entire race, well, by the time we get to lap 52, we'd only have approximately 52% tyre wear. That's how much tyre wear right now we're getting. But obviously we are, well, we would be disqualified before that.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button.
We go very wide. Ooh.
Be careful with...
Right, I'm just gonna... That was just a moment of madness, that was. I thought... I don't know what I was thinking. I just misjudged it a little bit, but also, yeah. That was just a bit stupid of me, doing that. But the reason why I had a flashback, you know, is because, yeah, I'm probably over fighting right now. Because these guys, either way, in front, you'd naturally expect be quicker. And the reason why I say you naturally expect them to be a bit quicker is because they're on a softer compound tyre, so you wouldn't necessarily expect them to be quite on the same level as I, who, obviously, I am on a slower tyre. Maybe after 7 or 8 laps, maybe even longer, maybe 10 laps, you'd expect me to gain pace and be a bit quicker than these guys, but for the opening 4 or 5 laps, really, we're really gonna struggle here, as myself and Bottas, go side by side. Bottas looking just to maybe try and find a way past my Ferrari. As the slipstream of Albon is helping a little bit. But you can see we are getting a bit quicker each lap, a bit smoother as well. So that's what it's about. As I think, did Biles have contact with me? I'm not sure. I know we really closed the door there, a bit naughty, but it's okay. So we are starting to find just a bit of pace now in the car. About now just trying to find that pace consistently each lap for the next 50 odd laps. Anyway, so going slightly even faster on that lap. Teammates in the pits. I think for his stop. Is he stopping really that early? So within the last few laps, we have been a little bit more better off. I'll say, takes a while for the medium tyre to just get into a groove, really, and that's what we've exactly seen here today. It's just taken a little bit of time, but now it's starting to get into that groove, and we're starting to see the pace the medium can deliver. Now, already we're starting to see the tyre wear really starting to go up. 10% is the tyre wear on that front left now. So yeah, it's starting to creep up now, a fair amount. So just think, if tyre wear is 10% on our front left. Just imagine what it is on their tyres. You know, obviously be a whole lot more, I suspect, at this phase in the Grand Prix. As we still now start to close in on Alex Albon in the Red Bull. As Hamilton right now currently in the lead of this Grand Prix, this race. Now I've just realised our fuel is a bit low, so we're gonna knock that down to standard mix, and hopefully just, you know, try to conserve a bit of fuel. Over bump. Nice. So we're starting to really feel the tyre a little bit more. Each lap that goes by just feel like giving me a bit more grip right now. As Albon starts to make small error then there, which will certainly help me out in terms of getting a bit closer to the back of his rear wing and closer to maybe making an overtake.
Okay, you've got plenty of energy. Use the overtake button and have a go.
So that just shows me his car now it's starting to struggle in the low speed. So he hasn't got as much confidence getting on the power. When you do, well, when stuff like that starts to creep in, you sort of smell an overtake is about to happen. Like I say, I'm trying to drive as normal as possible, whilst trying to also get these tyres well as far as possible. It's not a natural thing to do in Grand Prix racing. Usually when you're racing you want to either go hell for leather or you want to just conserve your tyres. It's not natural to try and do a bit of both. Especially to really extend really beyond what they should be doing, because really what these tyres should be doing, probably about half race distance, maybe a little bit over that, 31, 33 laps or something. This, what we're requiring them to do, is a lot more than that. We're talking put them very much on the lifeline. So I suspect within probably the next 10 or so laps, Alex Albon, Bottas should all be in, those on the softs. We follow Alex, still around for another lap. Well, Alex is running at a decent pace. He's not running at a bad pace. As Alex makes another error, we sort of get a little bit sideways with him, but not as much, so that helps us really pounce off that final corner on lap 10. So we really starting to make inroads on Alex Albon now. I think we might just have an opportunity here, possibly going down into left field. Can we get maybe past? Easily done, surely. It's just now about getting the car turned, as Alex Albon just able to come back past due to the fact we just didn't get the car slowed down enough and turned in to hold on to that. unfortunately. So Alex Albon able to just regain that position ever so easily. But the encouraging sign is now we're really looking a whole lot more better off, more so than Alex, than in the Red Bull. So once again coming through the S's, Maggots, Beckett's, then out down the hanger straight. We come through the final couple of corners here at Silverstone. So this time we are still close. We're certainly within a decent margin here. It's all about how we get off the corner once again. Again, don't think this time we're close enough to really have a look into Luffield, but we are getting close, and yeah. You just get a slide off the corner there, having to more or less drift it around that final part. Either way, so that cost me a little bit of time, that did, that small drift, but oh well. We're still closer than ever as we come into the final part of the track. As we now head up the hill once again, having to small lift there due to the fact we didn't get the line quite right, but it's okay. This time probably a bit too far back, unfortunately. As we head into Luffield again for the 12th time. Probably on lap 16 we'll have a quick look at the tyre wear on our car. See how we're doing. Obviously, the thing is, we've probably been killing our tyres more than actually expected. We'll have a quick look now, 20%. So yeah, it's really sharply risen now within these last few laps. I really want to get past now Alex, because right now, sitting behind Alex, we're just killing our tyre, our left front especially. So we've got a couple of options: back off and just run at a steady pace, but I don't want to fall into the grasp of Bottas, or try and get past immediately. I'm going to go for the later of the two. Right, so I'm only giving myself 2 more laps to make this move, okay? Otherwise we're going to have to back off and just conserve tyres until Albon pits. So lap 14. So it's gonna be this lap, or we're gonna have to probably just back off now for a couple of laps, or for a few laps until Albon pits. It needs to be this lap, or we're backing off. Alright, let's try and follow Albon here, just in this final sector. No, it's not going to happen. So we're going to back off now. So literally I'm just going to drop back, probably to within around 2 seconds. Because I don't really want to be following this closely. Literally, when I say backing off, I mean we are backing off. Oh no, you just hear the revs are so low. There we go. So, yeah, now obviously being this far behind just means we can look after the tyres a little bit better. We don't have to be as aggressive, because obviously it is an experiment. How far you can take a single set of tyres, and to do that we need to try and make it so we don't take a single set of tyres 2 laps into the race. So we're already 15 laps, so this is also quite interesting to see how far the AI get as well into the race. Obviously I doubt the AI will suffer any punctures today. So now I've just literally got to settle being around a 1.5 second mark behind, literally. Don't want to get any closer than 1.2. So literally I'm still running at Alex Albon's pace this far back. It's just I don't want to get too close to Alex, because close I get, like for instance now, as you can see, it's not good for the tyre. So literally I'm just driving now a bit more conservatively.
You're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing. To car in front is 1.5 seconds.
Now during this period of race I'm going to save just a little bit of fuel, might as well, just so we're safe on that. See, literally, when Albon gets to around 2 seconds, we can probably start pushing. When Albon is not in 2 seconds, we gotta sort of start laying off the throttle a little bit. That's how it's having to go.
We're at +1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target +1.
So now in start, probably just upping the pace a little bit. Just not gonna up pace in terms of up in engine map, just up pace in terms of aggressive driving style. May just up the engine map a little bit, just so we don't fall into the clutches of Bottas. We're beginning to a little. So right now they've gone 20 laps almost so far.
The car ahead may have fuel problems. Let's push, keep the pressure up.
Apparently Albon may have fuel issues. How's our tyres looking? 29% at the end of lap 18. So, yeah, looking at it, the front left really is now starting to take a pounding in this race. Obviously,
Hamilton's in first place.
but it's still not as bad as I would expect. Because if you do that, let's say we got that 20 laps now on the board, and that's at 29%, basically 30%. By the time you get to lap, 40, probably talking around 60, just under 70%, 60 something, let's say 68%, I'd say tyre wear, by the time we get to lap 41. So it's certainly not taking a pounding as I'd expect, but you never know. So either way,
Gap to the car ahead is around 2 seconds.
lap 19.
You're dropping a second a lap to the car behind. 1 second.
Now,
3.0 seconds.
it will be quite intriguing to see where we get the puncture. If it's close to pits, obviously it could be actually very fortunate. If it's far from the pits, well, it's a long lap back here to the pit lane. That's all I will say on that one. It'll be a very long lap. We will have a little bit of warning in terms of when the tyre will go, due to the fact we will see the tyre start to deflate. We should, so it won't be a instant tyre puncture.
Let's use that overtake button more.
But we should get some sort of warning, I suspect. I'm not saying we're in that territory right now. Right now we're nowhere near puncture territory in terms of for the tyre. But every lap that goes on, the worse obviously the tyres will become. And right now, though, I'd say we're doing okay. We're not doing too bad. We're now going to go probably for just another quick attack on Albon here, because I suspect Albon will be coming in soon. So we're just going to up the pace here, just to, bring Albon back into play and try and get past Albon. That's going to be now the plan once again. I suspect Albon tyres will be very much, unlike ours, in a worse shape. They should be around 50 or 60%. Them tyres will be pretty much, not dead, but close to the wall. Now, also, the thing is though, we will probably get an idea when Albon coming in, because I suspect they'll box Verstappen first. I don't think they're going to box Bottas or Albon first, even though they could do, because they do have a gap for it, where, let's say they did box Albon, I don't think Albon, 12 seconds off his teammate, is going to really challenge Verstappen for that position. So I do think they could box Albon first, but I just think it won't happen. They're more likely to box, you know, Verstappen first, due to the fact he's fighting possibly for a race win. I think he's a bit off that at the moment. Anyway, now back within that 1 second DRS window. And just see now, we're looking a whole lot more better off than Albon. And just see his tyres are looking a lot worse shape. You can just tell that through the way Albon is driving. Albon isn't driving as maybe aggressively as he was before. It's a bit more smoother and everything right now. And you can just tell his pace was a whole lot easier to catch. So I imagine it should only take really maybe the best of 1 lap here. I'd say next lap should have him Wellington Straight or somewhere. You'll see he's not able to carry as much speed on or off the corner. So he's probably a sitting duck here, really. We're just able to carry a bit more, and that helps just ever so tiny bit more. So I do think should have Albon here. This should be an easy move, unlike the last time, as we will go to the outside, go around the long way through the first part of Luffield. Then, yep, easy done into Luffield. So, Hamilton 22 seconds up ahead of us. Then here, as Albon looking to come back, Verstappen 12 seconds. So, really, Hamilton's checked out in this race. Very much so. And Hamilton should see this one probably through now to win his home Grand Prix. We meanwhile fighting with Albon. Right now, just want to get that gap up to around a second, probably. That's where I want to get the gap to be. As soon as we get to around a second, we're pretty good.
The gap to the car ahead is 12.1 seconds.
And the reason why I want to get it to around a second is then Albon doesn't have the DRS. Now, I don't think Albon will have the DRS this lap, actually, which is good. And the reason why it's good just means it's one less tool in his armory he can't use, which benefits us, of course. So yeah, so we'll try and pull away now from Alex and just try and, you know, create a gap between myself and the Red Bull, obviously. Teammate status?
Tyre condition is still looking good.
No, I didn't say that. So teammate status, and yeah. Teammate status?
They're on old hards. They're in 19th. The time last lap was a 1:32.9.
So they're on old hards in 19th. I want to know the gap though. What's the gap to, let's say, them? teammate status.
They're on old hards. They're in 19th. The time last lap was a 1 minute 32.9.
So we are lapping half a second quicker, let's say. Let's say he's more than half a lap. Yeah, about half or 3/4 of a lap. So Leclerc is miles back right now. So Leclerc's having an awful race all the way down in 19th. Either way, we're finally pulling out a gap here. So that's good. Obviously, reason why it's good, obviously we will get puncture at some stage in this race, probably. If not, we will have to pit. But the bigger gap we can have before they pit, the better it is for us later on in the Grand Prix. It just means that they've got less laps to catch us, or to catch up that time that they lose. And yeah, how tyres looking? 40%. Right, we're now getting down to some serious business now. These tyres are really starting to cook.
Use your overtake button for more.
But
We need to push.
40% after 25 laps, that only puts us on 80% after 50 laps. So are we really saying medium tyre can go 50 laps into the Grand Prix? Well, by the looks of it, yes it can. But don't forget, it's gone up 10% over the last 7 laps or so. So every 7 laps we're now getting around 10%. So 32, by lap 32 we should have around 50% tyre wear, lap 60, lap 40. So yeah, it'd be still close to the lap 50. By the way, if we don't get puncture in this race, we will just drive until we get disqualified. So it's one or the other, disqualification or puncture. And Max is now in the pit lane, ladies and gents. So Max Verstappen has made his first stop of this race. Then here, obviously, he'll be stopping for a fresh set of the medium compound tyre. That's exactly the same tyre we're on now. So, bearing that in mind, I suspect Albon will be probably also coming in at this, well, within the next lap or so, as Bottas makes the pit stop. So yeah, Albon should come in this lap. I think that's almost guaranteed. Then here, as the car's now starting to make the first pit stop, what should be only pit stop, because medium can easily, I think, get to the end from here. Considering we've got this steep into the race, it would be a fool of me to say the medium wouldn't get to the end of this Grand Prix. As Albon is now probably going to make a stop any moment now, probably within the next half a lap of racing, as Hamilton has come in. So Hamilton's in for his one and only stop, I suspect, that he'll make as well in this race. And in comes Albon now. Albon is into the pits. So are we going to also come out ahead of Hamilton here? Yes, we are, just about. So there we go, we are ahead of Lewis Hamilton, only just. How long will it be before Lewis Hamilton actually overtakes? That is a really, really good question, I think, now. But how much can we delay him by as well? If we can delay, could we effectively bring Verstappen back into this race here? I doubt it, as Hamilton looking very much like he doesn't want to be waiting too long as we make a little bit of contact. I sincerely hope we haven't broken his front wing or anything, but yeah, that was, you know, well, bit of a daft place for Hamilton to try and make a move, but maybe we're over defending this. Hamilton isn't really our battle, but I do want to delay him and try and just lead a lap maybe of this Grand Prix. This may be the only lap we get to lead, but if it is, so be it. As we cross the line, and we've officially led a lap in this Grand Prix, and now we let Hamilton by. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit here. Don't really want to let Hamilton by yet, but now if he wants to go by, he can come by. There we go. Let Hamilton go. Nice and simple for Lewis then there. Very simple overtake. And that should be Hamilton checking out now in this race. So, yeah, Hamilton should now just be able to pull away, even though he will give us a bit of DRS, which may help a slight bit, like later on, you never know. Still, tyre wear 46%, so it's not too bad. And that's on our worst tyre, by the way. On the rest of them, just to show you what they are on the rest. On the rest, it's far better. So, really, if it's any of these tyres that's gonna go, it will be that left front. That will go pop. Otherwise, really, the other tyres, the rears, the front right should be just about fine. It is just going to be that left front. It's not going to be the rear. It's just the left front right now. That is the problematic tyre. That right now, when it goes, that will be the tyre that will be the one going first. But it's just a question of where it goes, if it goes.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilize some of this energy.
Right now, tyre is okay. Soon as it starts voguing into the red, the danger zone, that's when tyre isn't okay. So right now, at this stage, remember, it did probably predict us to have around, well, by lap 42, 75% tyre wear. So the tyre should be only 5% away from popping. Right now, I think it's probably a bit better than that. So I'm going to say, well, I've already said my prediction. We would see our tyre go on lap 45. But I think, because we've extended it by the looks of it, probably it's going to be lap 48. So right now, we're really, really struggling. Even though not too much, not as bad as I thought. Like, Albon don't seem very much quicker than us on a new set of the mediums. He seems to maybe just have about as much pace, if not a little bit more, right now, despite being on a fresh set of tyres. So have a quick look, 49%, so it's every 6 laps now or so, it's going up around 10%, so 36 we should see on 60%, I'd say, is around every 6 laps, yeah. So lap 36, 60%, let's say, well, it might be lap 41, 75%, no, just under. Lap 41, 70. So, just under 70, should be 42, lap 42 we'll see it on 70% the tyre. Then, lap, I'm gonna say, lap 48, yeah, 80%, so it'll be around probably 48, 49, we might see a tyre failure. I think we've got to make the pit stop on lap 50 or 51. Pretty sure it's probably lap 51. We've got to make the pit stop, so right now this set of tyres gone basically the whole race, I would say, almost, but let's not prejudge it. You never know, maybe there's a tyre failure before that, unexpectedly. So yeah, I've got no doubt that the hard tyre would probably make it all the way. In fact, I think the hard tyre would probably easily make it. There'd be no questioning it. Like, the hard tyre, yeah, would just easily. I don't think that's even a question. Would the hard tyre make it to the end of this Grand Prix? Of course it would. So the hard tyre could certainly make it all 52 laps. The soft tyre, I'm going to say it can make it at least to lap 40 maybe, or lap 30. I'm going to say lap 35 it probably would make it to. Maybe it's an experiment we should try again, but with the soft tyre this next time. See how far that could make it into the Grand Prix. I would say it'd be probably a lap 35 or a lap 40 tyre, somewhere around there. But I will say, the AI must have took it pretty close to its limit, because Hamilton pitted on lap, what, 26 or 27? You know, Verstappen pitted on lap 24 or whatever, so they must have took it within its limit and quite close to it, if you know what I mean. It certainly wouldn't have been far from the limit. Right, if we box now, we would just come out ahead of Lando Norris, just behind Alex Albon, probably by a couple of tenths of a second, maybe a second roughly. But we're not going to box now, we're not even considering it. Just giving you an update. So obviously when the failure does come, and it will come at some point, obviously I do suspect that the tyre will, well, it just depends whereabouts on the lap it comes. Let's say it came here, we wouldn't have too far back to the pits from this distance. We'd only have like not even half a lap. So yeah, we wouldn't have too far back from there to the pits if it came in that part of the track. It just depends what part of the track, if and when this puncture comes, because let's say it came at, I don't know, here, that would be the worst part of the track for it possibly to come, due to the fact we'd have all this part of the track, well, we'd have a lap to do basically on a flat tyre, which, yeah, you can just see where that one would go. So hopefully it comes after, you know, the halfway point in this lap, and just see now we're struggling for a bit of grip even off the rears now. Good thing we've only had one incident up to this point. Shows how consistent we've been, really. And that lap was a really silly, clumsy error by myself on lap 3 of this Grand Prix.
Grip is probably dropping due to wear, so don't be too aggressive.
So that is our personal best middle sector. So overall still racing on in this Grand Prix. As we in the hunt to find out how far a, well, set of mediums can go in a Formula 1 Grand Prix around the Silverstone circuit. Obviously, reason why I'm doing it, because at British Grand Prix we saw a lot of tyre explosions a couple of months ago. So I thought, let's see, can we do any better? So far we've got this advertised 36 laps into the Grand Prix, which, well, is a fairly decent, you know, already stint. Right now, also, we would only come out behind Lando Norris with a significantly fresher set of tyres now, because they've been on them mediums for about 10 laps, so their tyres should be at least around, probably around 20% used or worn tyres roughly, compared to ours, which are practically 60%, shall we say? No, just under. So in fact, it's better than that. It's better than even what I've expected. So these tyres are lasting for far longer than anticipating. As I say, we will obviously be doing one of two things: either getting a puncture, then making a pit stop, or not getting a puncture and getting disqualified. One of the two. Obviously, which one comes first, I don't know. But whichever one does come first, all I say, that will be the winner, sort of thing, if you know what I mean. So that left front is certainly very much worn now, but it's still not as bad as I would have anticipated. I was thinking it would be a lot worse. I do wonder, because we lowered the tyre pressures, does that actually have anything to do with it? In terms of how, you know, basically little wear there's been? It possibly does. But if so, it has helped a significant amount, because now, not only are we in the territory of actually these tyres going all the way, but we are actually in that territory now, I think, personally, as they've just cropped over to 60%. So, if, let's say, in another... they're on only 70%, effectively we're getting disqualified, put it that way. So, yeah. Now, I've been driving quite conservative for the last few laps. Time to be a bit more aggressive, I think. I really want to slide the car across the track here. Let's try and be as aggressive as possible.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the softs.
So, for it, but right now, approaching pit window will be on the softs. So, we've significantly extended the stint. I really think we're getting disqualified here. This Ferrari, whatever it does, clearly it's very good at being kind to its tyres. We need 8% just to get into the 70% range. We need 20% to get into the territory where you'd expect or start to possibly see a puncture. And even driving like hell, like this, is just not going up. Even if I do this, probably, it still won't go up. Oh, it's tiny gone up. So I'm just really gonna whack the hell out of these tyres. See if we can even gear ourselves now. Undo all the hard work. Down every straight, we're going to try and run out of a tyre. Sorry if anyone gets sick, or anyone suffers from dizziness. go. That's Verstappen out of the way. Just trying to slide the tyre across the surface of a racetrack.
Lap to the car behind, 1 second.
See whether or not this would even help. But yeah, I think in conclusion, I think if I wasn't doing this, some silly now stuff to try and just get that tyre worn,
1 second.
I really think we would make it to the end. I know that would probably be a bit more interesting seeing me make it to the end. Well, not really. Let's be honest. We could still make it to the end on 80%. You just never know.
In this lap,
So, we were meant to have 75% tyre wear. We've only got 66% tyre wear, believe it or not. So significantly less than what was expected, believe it. So yeah, and it's even better if you look at the front right or front left or rear right. It really is a lot better on the rears than it is on that front left, but even then that front left is still very much holding up. Gotta be a bit careful doing this. Reason why, because at the end of the day, the AI are very close behind me. But I am literally just trying every trick in the book right now. Just in order to get that tyre worn. Every single stage where possible, I'm just weaving. And it's still, honestly, that tyre, even though it is as worn as it is, it's still not enough. Still not gonna do it. And yeah, just weaving at every single opportunity I get right now. Bit silly, but trying to just make sure it gets to lap 45 and then goes pop. That's not going to help.
we've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button.
So it is starting now to be worn. But it's still not in the puncture territory where we need it to be. Still need 10% more even for it to be in puncture territory.
Gap ahead is 13.8 seconds.
So still,
Those tyres are going to fall off the cliff soon. Take extreme care.
so race engineer saying they're basically dead. My front left is anyway. Front right isn't still anywhere near the front left or as bad. Now we're trying to just still kill that front left even more. We want to get below 80%. Can we do it before 45? I suppose is the ultimate question. Come on. That's it. It is going up a little bit quicker as soon as it's gotten to this 70% stage, which shows the tyre is very bad. And look how hot the tyre is. No wonder why. Just look how red hot these tyres are. Oh dear. I think Boaz did hit me. Possibly, I'm not sure.
Hamilton's out in front.
No!
Okay. That was a big one. Confirm your
What are
okay,
you
please.
doing, Albon? Honestly, Albon just took me out there. Pretty sure he did anyway. Look, yeah, he just takes me out. Not we car across his line. He just simply takes me out. I'm gonna let Albon go. Albon's no longer our race. Right.
We're leading our teammate by 41.5 seconds.
See, turning into left-handers, we're not really going to do much damage. It's right-handers where we need to get the damage done. And we've only got one lap before my prediction comes true, or false.
The gap behind us is 5.1 seconds.
I think mine is more likely to be inaccurate. But yeah, definitely, you can just see, look, I'm having to weave about just to get even up close, anywhere close. We're still probably in danger of not, well, being disqualified first before actually the tyre popping, believe it or not. That is literally what we're probably in more threat of. Gasly out of this race. 75%, so now the tyre is at 75%. 3 laps after the prediction on the original prediction.
Caution. Be aware, there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags. Green flag.
So I'm not going to weave anymore. I've had enough of weaving. But we'll just drive now normally. I've used a lot of fuel doing that, believe it or not, the weaving. Obviously,
For a new strategy option.
I have extended, well, the sort of lap, I suppose, because every time, let's say, you go wide or, you know, you weave left, weave right, you are effectively, you know, going a bit further than you need to travel, if you know what I mean. Not literally, the lap is still the same distance in terms of a track, but because you're swerving, you're carrying a couple of extra meters, maybe extra 20 meters, let's say. As Norris breezes past. So, will the tyre pop or will it not? So I'm going to keep it on this one for the remainder of the race to see how close to 1 or 2 being fully done. So 77%. So I'm going to say within now the next 2 laps we will have it in the 80% range. But the question is, will it pop? Will it not? Will we do a bit wide at the first part of the left field?
Strategy is available on was 15.8 seconds.
%78%.
Right, some information on Grosjean. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
Grosjean out the race. Then here. The last thing we need now is a safety car.
Okay, clear.
So we'll hit 80% within the next lap or two. I think that's guaranteed.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
I'm still trying to now just drive as normal. So I'm not trying to drive as if, you know, I want to pop the tyre or anything. 79%. So now we're in that danger zone where the tyre could go with the probably next few turns of the wheel.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
So I suspect it's close to going. And now the tyre wear warning is on, so tyre could literally pop at any moment now. So we're now within that territory. I definitely know, without doing what I did for a lot of it, we certainly wouldn't have made it this far. So now what I'm going to try and do is avoid all the curbs. Just avoid them for that left front. And reason being, don't want to put too much load onto it now anymore. Trying to avoid them as much as possible. Obviously, if the tyre went, let's say, somewhere here, be perfect, because we're practically right near the pits. Tyre goes elsewhere. It's not so good. Through the high speed, I'm probably worried the most of it going. Low speed, if it goes in low speed, at least I'll have a bit of warning to tell me, yep, tyre's gone. High speed, so just go. So I'm a bit worried hitting curbs, like I'm trying to avoid them just as much as possible now. I'm not really too fussed about the ones that are flat, but not so flat ones. For instance, I don't really like running over that curb. I thought the tyre might have gone there due to the understeer we got, but no, not quite. So I believe probably this lap or next lap, we've got to make a pit stop. So yeah, not gone, but it is in the danger zone. So yeah.
Be aware we expect severe loss of grip from the tyres at this point.
Still not really a sign of that tyre going. Not really seeing any symptoms yet of a deflation, but usually you don't see symptoms. That's the thing. Usually it just hits you. So it looks like we're getting disqualified. Are we? Unless it goes within the next, well, lap, we are getting disqualified. It's as simple as that. So, alright, it must go this lap or we are disqualified out of this race. I'm gonna take every curve now. Not even gonna. So if it's gonna go, it's gotta go now. Really, within the next lap. Otherwise, we are getting disqualified.
6.4 seconds.
Just trying to run it over every single curve. Come on. If you go, I'll pay you. Trying to just run it over every single curb. It's just not wanting to go. So there we go. Soon as we come around this final corner, that's it. We are disqualified, so the tyre lasts the whole race.
Okay, black flag.
That is it.
We're out of the race. This is your final lap of the race.
Unfortunately, we did not meet the tyre requirement rule, which requires us to make 2 compulsory tyre changes, or sorry, 1 compulsory tyre change during the course of a Grand Prix. Unfortunately, we didn't meet that rule, and unfortunately it was a tyre failure, sorry, a disqualification, which brings our British Grand Prix to the end. To be honest, if I didn't weave or any of that stuff that we did around that lap 38 to 44 period, we probably wouldn't have even made it to 80%. We would probably been talking 75% at most, maybe. I really reckon and believe that really the weaving I did during those laps really were probably the difference between having it at above 80 and not above 80. Because we probably at least added about, I'd say, 10% tyre wear during those laps. So yeah. Otherwise, yeah, it's intriguing that we made it all those laps, 50 odd laps or whatever, easily. Like, yeah, one set of tyres, basically, all the way. As you can see, we did 58 laps, and there you go. Failure to use required tyre compounds. Disqualification, of course. I did not, whatever disqualification stands for. But yep, disqualified. We did pick up 1 or 2 warnings. But yeah. Otherwise, that was it. Obviously, Leclerc, you went for the wrong tyres, my friend. You should have gone for the medium. Hang on. Did Sergio Perez finish this race? He better not. Where's Sergio Perez? I was about to say, because when you go to pit stops, and he says he went soft, but I didn't realise he made a actual pit stop again on lap 32. So yeah, he did finish this race legitimately. I was about to say, how come I got disqualified yet? You know, Sergio Perez didn't, but you know, he did meet that tyre also. I'm about to say that. But yeah, there you go then. So it did last all the way, 52 laps, and the pace wasn't too bad actually. Obviously, during the laps, as I say, we were weaving. Obviously, the pace did drop off significantly, as you would expect. That was in the laps we were weaving. But just look at them laps around lap 46, lap 47, lap 48, lap 49, lap 50 even. We did a 1:32.2. So even on them laps, we were still pretty decent. In fact, our best lap was a 1:31.5. Okay, so we were still on lap 46. We did a 1:31.6. So we were still pretty much, despite the tyre wear, we were still matching or being able to almost do our best lap overall. So yeah, we were still fairly quick overall. Our pace, you know, really, our pace was very good and consistent. Like, you know, prior to that, obviously, pace again was still pretty good. 1:32s, like, you know, 32s, 33s, occasionally, but particularly 32s. Our most consistent period of the race, I think, was probably the moments in between lap 15 and lap, let's say 20 or 19. In between those 4 laps, we did times only split by basically hair lengths, you could say. Not much. In fact, lap 14, in fact, I can date that back to, because yeah, basically lap times only split by less than 4/10 of a second. Then there. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share this video, and until the next time, have a great day.